Sponges here. Get your sponges here, ladies. The new Ryan Gosling flick. $3 extra for them pre-soaked.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a movie where I guess it's safe to say that they got all the rain footage from all the women getting wet from Ryan Gosling. By the way, it's ironic that it was raining here when we went to go see this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wet like the panties. That's true.
Okay, so hi, welcome to End Credit Reviews on episode After the Credits on End Credit Reviews. This is Tyler from End Credit Reviews.
Steven from Steven Lawson Studios.
And we have a guest, of course, and he is...
Luke?
All right. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had Luke on here. Last time was that Blair Witch movie.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, remember
It has been a while.
remember our jokes
It's really
of
been a year since I've done a movie. I thought it's been like since then.
Maybe
a little over a year, but I have to look at the video footage again. But remember the review joke where like, is the Book of Shadows the deleted emails of Hillary Clinton? Yeah. Oh yeah, but I love the whole like joke about. Yeah, can you imagine if, like, the Blair Witch, like, they put a cardboard cutout in the background?
Right.
Like, here's the Blair Witch.
Yeah, there was some, I think it was How It Should Have Ended did something where, like, the whole thing at the end of the Blair Witch
Oh,
where
yeah.
it cracks the camera.
The Blair Witch Project.
And
yeah.
it literally was, like, feet away from the cutout of a witch that they had. Damn it, you know. Just cut the audio. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and we just watched the movie Blade Runner 2049.
Right.
Now it's the movie that people have been very divided about when it comes to if they're looking forward to it. I recently made a poll on my Twitter by asking people, so are you looking forward to the new Blade Runner movie? And majority of people, about 50-something%, said yes. And then there was like no, and then there was also so like mixed. So again, people were kind of mixed about, divided and such about it. And we haven't really had time to review the first Blade Runner movie from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But just quickly before we get into this one, what are your guys' thoughts on that movie?
You want to start?
Yeah,
I
I'll have Luke go
enjoyed it,
first.
but I don't understand. Like, I know it's supposed to be like this cult classic of science fiction, and I
Mhm.
understand that it kind of started the whole cyberpunk genre.
Sure.
So it kind of led the way with that, but I don't know why. Like, I can see why people like it, but I don't know why it's so beloved. But I mean, because some of it was just plain confusing.
Yeah.
I get you.
Rutger Hauer was good. I liked him as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Overall, I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of a little too confusing for me. I don't know.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from. I think I did like some of the depth and what does it mean to be human type of stuff
Yeah.
that was going on with that. Because I definitely like that sort of question being asked in movies. But I agree that to me, people were just saying like, oh, this is a fundamental sci-fi film for, you know, the science fiction genre. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from, but I'm not gonna say it's like the best thing ever either.
Yeah.
That's where I was with it too. So I mean, it was solid, and like you were saying, the villain was solid. The androids I really liked in that one. And of course Harrison Ford was pretty good. But yeah, it was fine to me. It was pretty good.
It's based on a Philip K. Dick novel, right? Or short story. I forgot what it's called, but it's...
Do androids dream of
electric
electric sheep?
Yeah.
I think we had to read that for one of our courses.
And I know there's a new Amazon series coming out called... I think it's actually called that. That's a new Philip K. Dick show. So.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Personally, I really liked the movie a lot. I think it's a very solid and good movie. Like, it did mix, noir settings with futuristic stuff. In fact, the movie was so inspirational, I don't think too many science fiction movies have diverged from the look of Blade Runner. I mean, remember the show Batman Beyond? It was a lot like the Blade Runner, like the look of it,
Yeah,
with the future and such.
And
And
aped many times. Like even Ghost in the Shell. A lot
Oh,
of that
yeah.
stuff was...
well, yeah, of course.
Definitely.
But yeah, obviously this one's been more critically praised because it doesn't have the whole, label on for whitewashing.
But even the anime version of Ghost in the Shell got more praise, whether it deserved it or not. So
Yeah, but back to the movie itself.
Mhm.
I think it's interesting how many like different cuts to the film there are.
Yeah, seriously.
but-
there was a cut that was never even no one's even seen except for like it was just a test screening, and then that was the one time it was shown. And then there's like the final cut, the director's cut.
So many cuts.
It's ridiculous. But the
Yeah.
final cut's like the definitive version.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but speaking of cuts in that, when I was a kid, I was told my parents wanted to watch Blade Runner for the first time. I think it was like early teens or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Blade Runner, what's that? About a guy running around with knives in there, like he's running with blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been jokes about how blind people perceive movies. Blade Runner, running with the blades.
Right.
But wasn't that like Kate Beckinsale in one of the scenes in Underworld, the fourth Underworld movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a scene where she like runs through and like cuts people, and that they have literal Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Well, aren't Blade Runners? Isn't that also the name of like the people that have those prosthetic legs that look kind of like it's like a metal spring that replaces their leg and they still run on them? I think those are actually called like the
Oh.
chick from the first Kingsman.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
know.
those are actually called Blade Runners.
She should be called a Blade Runner. That's for sure. But I don't know. her
Oh yeah,
name.
from the first Kingsman, Gazelle was it? Or,
Yeah, something like that.
Gazelle, the gazelle.
yeah. All right. So I'll try to wrap it up with my thoughts on it, but also I did like the characters too, and some of the philosophical stuff, which they do touch more about this movie, which we'll get to. I know it's been almost 7 minutes, but we'll get to it. I will say that Sean Young was about our age when she was in that movie. The actress, yeah, Rachel. Yeah, she was pretty hot back then, I say, but you probably didn't know this, but originally she was supposed to play Vicky Vale in the first Tim Burton Batman movie, but she got in a horse riding accident, so they replaced her with Kim Basinger. So when they thought, okay, who are we going to have for Catwoman? She thought, oh, I should be Catwoman. I'm not kidding. This actually happened. She dressed up as Catwoman with like a whip and mask on, went to the Warner Brothers studio, and went to like Tim Burton's office or something like that, and was whipping the whip around asking to see Tim Burton for her audition.
She bad him. She bad him.
Yeah, I would actually think she would be a good Catwoman, to be honest, in that, like,
Yeah.
back then, I could see her that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was in this one, because I guess she said no.
She was animated, but
Yeah.
like they had a lookalike that animated her.
But I'm like, whoa, it's not like you have anything else better in your career right now.
Has she done anything since then?
Some stuff. She was in that Bone Tomahawk movie.
Oh, really?
Was she really? Huh.
Yeah, she was, like, one of the, citizens or villagers, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's been a while since we started the review. We should talk about. All right,
Sure.
at the 8-minute mark, here
Yeah,
it is.
here
About
we
the 8-minute
go.
mark. Okay, so Blade Runner 2049 has been a lengthy sequel, long time
35
coming.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and I think our time to get to reviewing this feels like 35 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, so basically we have our kind of a similar character like Harrison Ford's character named Kay, played by Ryan Gosling,
Mhm.
and pretty much he's trying to hunt other kind of rogue androids or whatever you want to call them, replicants.
Replicants.
Yeah. And so then he stumbles upon something that's like, wait, what's all these this like box of these bones,
Mhm.
and realizes it's something much bigger, like classic noir stories, of course.
Yep. It wasn't a skeleton in the closet this time. It was in a box, buried.
Do you?
So,
Oh yeah. Do you remember that? I don't know if you saw the Nostalgia Critic review for Scary Godmother, but
no.
there's a character called Skeleton in a Closet,
Oh,
and he's obviously this is obviously the gay jokes coming in, and it's like, was he ever in the closet to begin with?
Yeah, jeez.
Okay. So very much he investigates, and of course he runs into Harrison Ford's character from the first movie,
Decker, yeah.
Decker. Yeah, I wonder where Block was at, but oh, all right. So basically, okay. So basically, he has this companion named Joey.
Joy.
Joy.
Yeah, Joey.
Sorry.
Joey Wheeler.
But
no.
wait, there are women named Joey, like Joey King, that Wish Upon
Yeah.
movie. We're
Right.
gonna be we'll do our funny commentary on that
Yeah,
sometime.
this Joy Shibu though. Shibu. I mean,
she was in that Knock Knock movie with Keanu Reeves.
Okay, that's not so booish, but
Well, she was naked in that.
Okay, maybe she is booish.
But she's naked. I'll take 20.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, and of course we have our main villain of the movie, played by Jared Leto as
Neander Wallace.
Neander Wallace.
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal, I guess, runoff maybe.
And his accomplice, who was another sexy boo thing named Love, played by Sylvia Hook.
Really, Love?
Yeah.
Is it
Literally
Sandy
Love.
Hooks?
Is this like is
That'd be funny if it was Sandy.
Right.
so Love? So I guess his other options were Boo and Thing
Boo thing!
and Bay and Bay.
Yeah, boo bay.
All right, so I guess he's trying to investigate this sort of thing, and yeah, I mean a lot of people were not so sure about this movie. Now, the director of this movie, which when I found out who was directing, I was like, okay,
Denis Villeneuve.
yes, this guy right here. Yeah, this guy is actually probably one of my favorite directors that have come out in recent years. Yeah, I mean he's directed
Arrival.
Enemy was his first with who's that?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
And Prisoners too.
Oh, Prisoners is my favorite of them. I really like that movie a lot. It's
You
one
also
of-
like Sicario a lot, I know.
yeah,
right?
Sicario was his second. It's like another one I really like too a lot.
Mhm.
And Arrival was his last one.
It was
Right.
well before this one.
Yeah.
And I liked that one.
And
Yeah.
his next project is Dune. He's making a Dune movie
Really?
reboot, which should be pretty good.
That
Oh,
is
okay.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's in good hands. 'Cause I gotta say, this movie was really good.
It was well directed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Giant standout, I think, was the cinematography. Was amazing.
Definitely.
Like, and you know
Mhm.
what?
I-
Roger Deakins is like the best cinematographer out there. He did Spectre and
Mhm,
or no
yeah.
Skyfall.
Okay.
Um,
They do Spectre too.
he might have. I don't know, but he's done basically any movie that looks like,
Mhm.
like just gorgeous.
I
It's
ju-
probably
yeah.
Roger Deakins.
And there's a lot of stuff that looks like paintings, like we're on like different like shots of this like rundown area where it's like a big garbage dump area. But
Mhm.
I love the transition where we see like a campfire and we see like the ashes from the campfire, and then it goes to the windows of the building in the city. And I just loved how everything went. In fact,
Shawshank.
yeah, Shawshank
And No
Redemption,
Country. Yep.
A Beautiful Mind, and Hail Caesar, and
Yeah.
Sicario. Okay, yeah, I like that one.
Unbroken, Prisoners.
Prisoners, yeah.
Oh, in time.
Time.
Yeah. and,
Just-
and let's be real,
Just-
Rango.
Rango, yeah, I really like that one. True Grit, the newer one. Oh yeah, that one with
Gosh, she does like 2 every year. 3.
I think they just repeat some of the
No.
movies.
Well,
Oh yeah, House of Sand and Fog.
Mhm.
Okay, so back to our review of the movie as well, but yeah, I just really loved a lot of the effects, especially the soundtrack. I'm
Yeah.
thinking that I'm gonna be listening to the soundtrack for a while.
Yeah,
The
I'm-
soundtrack on the first was just as good. This might have been even better.
I actually I wasn't so sold on the first soundtrack, but I actually do like this one. I don't know what it was, if it was kind of just hints back to the original and not being so 80s-y,
Very
but
synthy.
yeah.
With a synthesizer.
But,
Mhm.
but to me, there's almost like good and like corny synthesizer.
Yeah.
And to me, the 80s synthesizers were like notoriously corny in feel to me, and people kind of still like it. And I'm just like, I don't really vibe with that. But
I
they
get you.
did a good job in this, kind of just hinting back to that, but also having some, modern grand scale to
They
it.
played the theme again when he was laying on the stairs with the snow. That's
True.
when they played the
Yeah,
theme.
I mean,
Yeah.
with those synthesizers, I mean, it was kind of like in the first Terminator movie, which I love,
Mm-hmm.
which it works
Yeah.
pretty well with, I would have to say.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to think what I wanted to say about it, but again, yeah, this was kind of like Ghost in the Shell, though, because this was before even the Ghost in the Shell anime got created
Mm-hmm.
and such. And yeah, it was kind of cool seeing these 3D holograms. I mean, there was a part in the movie where we saw this advertisement, this one girl like moving around like Harley Quinn, and like Jared Leto is in this movie.
Harley Quinn wannabes still in 2049.
Yeah.
And let's also talk about the interesting historical event that was
Oh yeah.
implied, the Cheeto cost. So going to find Deckard, we're not going to spoil too much, but as you can see in the trailer, there is a place that's like super duper orange.
Yeah.
And we were making jokes about like, oh, he wandered onto the set of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
And but it kind of hit me at some point like, oh, what if all that's Cheeto dust? And this is like a post-apocalyptic version of the Frito-Lay factory in the future. And then on top of it, Deckard at some point starts talking about, you don't happen to have any cheese
Yeah, the first
on you,
thing
do
he
you?
says is something about cheese. So we're like, oh my god, you're right.
Cheeto cost $20.49 confirmed.
Like Rick Deckard, that's where he went into hiding. He went and hid with Chester Cheetos.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Getting
remember.
it easy being cheesy.
It is not.
Yeah. I just love the part where he's going through like this like bunch of like decayed like civilization stuff, and I kind of remember the whole Ozymandias poem.
Right.
Yeah, He Mighty in Despair, which was also in another Ridley Scott production of.
Alien Covenant.
Yes, they even quote it too.
True.
And also the actor who played Dr. Manhattan was in that movie from Watchmen.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And also, right past that, there were two girls who were kneeling and opening their mouths to each other, and I said, it's a monument to Two Girls, One Cup. It is a historical monument to commemorate.
It's next to the Cash Me Outside girl.
Oh, no! A meme civilization. Like,
I want to see that movie.
memealization. Yep.
Sounds better than the
Meme-a-host.
sounds better than the Emoji Movie. I'll get
Right.
that. So about to the other cast members. About the other ones. So we also had the, I guess, commissioner or whatever. Oh yeah, but I'll get to Batista. Batista. All right. So yeah, it was kind of weird seeing how like he looked a lot like older and such. And there's a part where he's like in this outfit moving around. I joked to Steven with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Oh, my nipples.
Yeah.
My nipples.
True.
But then we also had Lieutenant Josie.
Or Joshy.
Joshi.
Joshy.
Future names need to be better than this, folks.
Right.
Played by Robin. Wrong. Robin, sorry. I had to get that at least one time.
That's right.
There's a part where she gets hit him like, hey, reenactment of her and Sean Penn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So
Oh yeah, the guy from The Dark Knight in this who played like Joker's
Yeah,
person,
guy in the ambulance.
guy in the
Coco?
ambulance.
is
Coco.
Why is his
What
name
the
Coco?
Coco?
Was his brother Cuckoo?
Yeah, Pebbles.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Alright. We should talk about we talked about we called her, well, at least you did, Boo Thing.
Oh, Joy?
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing
Jo-
that joy.
Yeah, bring that joy my way. Yeah, she was pretty much like personified Her from the movie Her.
Yeah.
Where, you know, basically the phone was just the love interest. So she of course could not really touch or, you know, feel a whole lot besides maybe that update, you know, from Windows or whatever that happened.
And then it crashes out of, you know, because of weird updates when you look at all the windows on the
Right. And the weirdest three-way ever happened.
With a ghost or something.
Yeah. Ghost in her shell.
Good one. But what I wanted to say was that with her being a hologram, I don't know if you guys remember or seen the movie The Sixth Day. There's a part in the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger character goes to his friend or whatever and sees he has like a girlfriend, but it's like she's a hologram. And I thought of that. But also the whole thing about when I saw what she looked like at first, I thought it was Discount Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She did look like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I did like the different like relationship they were talking about, the philosophical stuff, which I will save at the end my thoughts on.
Sure.
But back to the actresses in the film. I'm trying to remember one of the characters who played a prostitute was
There was
is
what's her
she
name?
in there? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's
She was from the Martian.
Mariette.
Mariette.
Yeah.
Lizzie Davis. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I saw a few episodes of *Halt and Catch Fire*, and I think she was an actress they were considering to play Domino at one point.
Gotcha.
And there's a part in the movie where it's like, okay, she's taking her clothes off, but then they cut away like, what? The camera guy forgot to pan down. Yeah, no, there's definitely not a shortage of nudity in this movie. I'll give it that.
True.
Yeah.
Lots of nipple twister sisters and birthed caramel covered replicants.
Yeah, the part where one of the characters gets birthed is a caramel like on. Man, R. Kelly's fetish is getting out of control here.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love the fact that the actor from
I'm the
Captain
now,
Phillips.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny to see him like briefly.
Barkadumpty!
I'm sure that's how it's.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should have. Yeah, he should have won that Oscar.
Yep.
Even compared to like Jared Leto that one year.
Look at me. I have the award now.
That was his first acting job too. He wasn't even an actor.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but it's nice to see him like once in a while. Like, okay, he's getting work in that.
Right.
What'd you guys thoughts on Jared Leto as the villain of the movie?
Underused. I thought he wasn't in it very much.
Same.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
thought he would do more.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of cool how his eyes didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't really blink much. In a
Yeah.
way, it was kind of similar to remember Johnny Depp's character in Dark Shadows,
Yeah.
where I guess they used effects to erase the times that he blinked.
And he was also kind of like, are you blind? What's going on with the whole
Yeah,
white?
what's with the weird like floating magical beans that like scan?
Magical beans.
Yes.
They fall down to the earth. They create the giant beanstalk.
Making these weird just
Yeah,
sounds
it sounded like,
like
the Predator at points.
Yeah, that was cool. And he had this kind of like weird, Japanese get up like surroundings and clothing
Sean
on.
Young was in it. I didn't realize that.
Wait, what?
What?
It's Rachel. Sean Young.
What?
Well, maybe it was just. Well, maybe it's because that
Footage,
was
I
old footage
think.
that they showed from the first movie. I don't know if she.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's kind of
No,
weird.
it says
What
her
the
in
fuck?
2049.
Well, does it say like what her
Click on
call
it,
was? Part was?
Uh,
Yeah, scroll back up. Oh, wait. Wait, go
it
back.
just says Rachel.
No, I mean,
Right.
click on her profile picture. It'll say like, not the profile picture. I mean the movie.
Well, you need to speak some sense, right?
Well, click on her filmography.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, actress. Blade Runner 2049.
Which is kind of weird. I thought she said no to it. I thought it was said that she wasn't in it, which is I don't know.
Fake news.
I really think it's just. I think they have to credit her, and it's just the old footage they're talking about because that was
That
definitely
could be.
And
animated. It was
photos as
definitely-
well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like remember, it was kind of weird that the actress who plays her is not dead, even though they wrote her character off.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sean Connery's character in the fourth Indiana Jones
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
He's alive still.
Yeah.
Just killed him. Yeah.
I don't want to be in this crap. That was not a very good impression of Sean Connery.
But, like the, and then of course Edward James Olmos was back for
Yeah.
a small scene in a retirement home.
Oh, okay.
What was his name again?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was. first.
Gaff, wasn't it? Gaff, yeah.
Yeah.
Gaff, isn't
And
that?
he made the little origami animals again? Remember he
That's-
was like
oh,
drowning
yeah.
swans in the first movie, and
That-
now he made something else.
That may be like a total spoiler that we accidentally just gave
Oh,
there, but
Not really, but
um,
So,
Retroactive spoiler alert.
yep.
so
Hindsight 2020, boys.
so wait, this Gaff. Wait, his name is Gaff.
Yep.
Huh, I thought it'd be played by Joe Biden, but
Not Gaffer, but
yeah. It's kind of weird how these people have weird names, Gaff and Marionette and all these other ones. Oh, and back to Ryan Gosling's character, like his name K. I thought this was like Men in Black, where they had like the name number, like the letters for their names.
yeah.
Yeah, still better than the Men in Black sequels, definitely.
Hmm.
Which I don't know if they're gonna make another one, but I heard Rush Hour 4 got confirmed.
Oh boy.
Chris Tucker needs that paycheck.
Guess so.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what other funny things we wanted to bring up in this review or interesting
I
stuff.
mean, we talked about the Cheeto cost, so that's very important. Could be part of our actual history foreshadowing here. But
Oh, we should talk about
Prophecy.
the muscle of the enforcer of Jared Leto's character, the replicant.
oh, love, yeah.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang Part 2.
I didn't
Wu-Tang
think.
Part 2.
Eh,
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay,
pass.
and what's up, Doc? We get it.
Why was there so many people busting through walls like the Kool-Aid Man? Like Dave Bautista goes through like.
Well, that's Dave
Whoa.
Batista. You see how big that guy
he makes
is?
sense, but then later doesn't.
Ryan
doesn't
Gosling
offer-
like busts
Gosling
out the
does it
door
too.
throughout like with ease.
He's like, oh yeah, just busting along.
It was hard for me to believe that Gosling could be even remotely toe to toe to
Yeah.
Batista's character.
Well, does
You know, like-
replicants have like more strength or something?
I guess so,
maybe.
but like this boy extra thick. Like
Yeah, I just love how one of those replicants, when she was interrogating some person, and then killed them, and then lifted their head up and to scan it, and then they just dropped their head and they bump out
That-
on the dust.
that was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love how this movie. I mean, it's kind of rewinding back to the audio of, I mean, the technical stuff, but
Mhm.
I did like how there were scenes of silence, but it wasn't like No Country for Old Men where it went on too long. I'm talking about it actually had music when it was needed,
Mhm.
and also in serious moments of silence, they were doing stuff of like when someone yelled or there's a loud stuff, something happened. It was pretty effective, which I liked.
Yeah. I
When there
agree.
was like long stretches of silence followed by like an ISIS attack of missiles.
Yeah, seriously. How many megatons of freedom are going to be deposited?
Yeah. Yeah, and also we'll probably yeah, I like that one. All right. All right. So what would you give this movie, Luke?
Well, on a scale of like 1 to 100%, I think I'd give it like an 85, maybe
Hmm,
90,
Okay.
possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it more than the first one, which I didn't expect, and a lot of people either didn't want this movie to be made or said it was impossible to make a sequel, or just didn't want it to happen. And I think that having a different director besides Ridley Scott helped, because I don't agree with the people, but a lot of people say that Ridley Scott has kind of lost his touch. Like, a lot of people didn't like Alien Covenant, a lot of people didn't like Prometheus.
Yeah.
I don't
think they
know.
were fine.
But I think that it was better if they got a different pair of eyes on it. So, overall, I enjoyed it.
Cool.
All right. So what would you give this movie, Steven?
Oh boy, what would I give this? That's kind of complicated. There was a lot of hype going into this because I was hearing a lot of great things about it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them are well deserved. Some not so much. I feel like there was quite a bit of dead space in there, and like kind of
game Dead Space.
yeah. I knew we were gonna joke about that because there was one part where he looked.
Batista's in like
yeah.
a Dead Space suit.
Batista literally looked like he was Isaac Clarke from Dead Space in a certain scene, and so I joked that to Luke. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel that there were some ruts of not a lot happening, and I felt that way in the first one too. But they kind of more definitively, yet still a little ambiguously, and answered some of the questions from the first one, so I thought that was good. And you know, answering the questions of what happened with the relationship of Deckard and Rachel from the first one, which we're not spoiling. But that was interesting, and how that came back into the story to some extent. So I thought that was good. I overall definitely recommend this. It was visually very good. It just kind of had some moments of not a lot happening, but that almost feels appropriate due to how the first one felt too. So I would honestly put this at a score somewhere probably about 86 to 87%. That feels about right for me. I'd give it a little higher than Luke was feeling, but not a whole lot higher. It just missed the A mark to me because of some of the pauses. So
Okay. Well, personally, I mean, when it comes to a movie sequel that took more than 5 years to make, most of them are not very good. But there are some exceptions, such as Aliens, Toy Story 3, Mad Max Fury Road. I heard that the original Dawn of the Dead's like that, but I haven't seen that yet. I plan on watching it. But this, I would say, is another case of it actually being very good, even though it's been more than roughly 3 decades since that came out. And again, I mean, it can work because you got the writer coming back from the first one, and also you have a really great director directing this as well.
Absolutely.
I really love the visuals, a lot of the sound design, all the other, effects. I really like the characters, the different philosophical stuff they're looking about. Because in a way of saying like how one thing I picked up on this movie is kind of like how replicants or whatever are not seen as human. In a way, it kind of looks like human history, like how for a while in certain civilizations would look at slaves as being subhuman
True.
and such, and being used for labor.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there are some references to like Egyptian mythology with some of the statues and even the structure of like some of the pyramid-like structures
Oh yeah, very
is
much
definitely given that kind of vibe for it. I would have to say.
So. Yeah, and inside the facility, Wallace's facility, that was definitely like a pyramid.
Mm-hmm,
No
definitely.
question. No question.
Yeah, and also I just like the idea of like asking things about like what exactly makes them human. How much emotion do they have technically, and they
Mhm.
also expand upon that with like hologram
Absolutely.
in a way, which again was pretty interesting. I have to say,
Yep.
I was kind of surprised how not much Harrison Ford was technically in the movie.
Yeah, like
True.
the first hour, I don't think he was in it, or maybe more. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
I felt like Jared Leto's character could have more screen time, the
Mhm.
villain of the film. I really liked a lot of the, besides story beats, I also liked how, again, it was just a really good sequel, but problems with, besides what I stated, is that there's a part in the film where these bunch of these replicants, I'm like, wait, you're telling, I've kind of seen the story beat before
Mhm.
a bit.
Yeah.
That felt sort of tiresome. They kind of probably could have, I don't know, omitted that part out or whatever.
Sure.
But overall, I think this is one of the best movies I've seen all year.
Definitely.
I would say it's definitely up there with War for the Planet of the Apes
Hmm.
and that. So, as for Blade Runner 2049, I would give it between 3 to 3.5 stars out of 4.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right.
Agreed.
All right, this is a really fun thing we did. Hopefully we'll do more like this with Justice League.
Yes.
I think
absolutely.
not many people are gonna turn that one down,
Seriously.
except the Marvel dick writers.
Very true. There are a few that I'm naming off in my head that
But one of them's over in many states away, so
true.
yeah. So this is Tyler from End Credit Reviews.
Stephen from Stephen Lawson Studios.
And Luke from the backseat.
Yeah, we
Still
gotta do the
Backseat Boys.
yeah, we gotta have Backseat Boys happen by Justice League.
Yep.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. It's gonna be tremendous.
It's gonna be beautiful. And I got the hand gestures going on if I can have with one hand going. yeah. All right. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of After the Credits on End Credit Reviews. And we hope to make more in the future. Please like and subscribe.